Did you know you can monetize a Spotify playlist? In today's video, I'm going to show you how we automate Spotify playlist creation, thumbnails, descriptions, and even the distribution of the playlist once it's created. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, if you want to earn some passive income, or maybe you're a music producer that wants to up their playlist creation, then this is the build for you. So let's make it no code. So the old-fashioned way to create a playlist, you'd go to your Spotify account and you would click on playlists and you'd create a new playlist, and you'd manually have to go through all of the tracks one at a time. So you just start adding tracks. Instead of searching here, so say we want to find a song called Steam. There we are. So we've got all these songs here, and you manually go through everything. But that's going to be a long process. We're an automation channel, so let's see how we can do this with automation. We'll leave the Spotify channel, and we're going to go into make.com. We're going to log into our account. Okay, and we are loading. So in here we are in make.com, and this is the scenario that I have built out. We're going to try and recreate this during the video, but I'll just show you how everything works. We have an automation series here, or sequence, that it starts with a fill out form. So basically we have a form which we fill out. It gets added to our Airtable. So the fill out is our trigger, and then we also are adding the information from our form to Airtable. So there's two data captures from the form. We then want to get the information from our form because we have some automations inside of Airtable itself. We make a call to Spotify to get the track. So we're searching by track. Then we've got an OpenAI module creating a title and description for us. I've asked it to generate an output in JSON. Scroll down, you can see JSON object. So we need to pass the JSON so we can use it further down the line. Then we're creating a thumbnail for the video. So we've got a little prompt there to create it. We're using Google Slides. This might be something new for some of you guys out there, because Google Slides allows you to add images and pass through placeholders. So we've got some placeholders and we're adding some images. We're downloading the file, and then we're creating our playlist. So we've got an API call there. We're uploading the image that's created via Google Slides, which is a PDF format, but you can also download as a PNG and then paste in. And then from here, we're getting similar tracks based on some fields. All of the tracks are then added, and then we're updating our playlist, updating the Airtable. So, sounds a bit complex, but I'll run through everything as we go. I'll show you our back end, which is, as always with me, I like to use Airtable. So we have this table here. We're going to create a new one. So we'll start with track ID, track URL, ID, artist. So that's a formula. These are all single lines of text. Number of tracks that we want. That's the playlist once it's created. This is the fill out ID, when it was last modified, and then we have some fields for the thumbnail and the description that's generated by OpenAI. So I'm going to go back to the home screen of Airtable. For those that you haven't seen it before, this is what it looks like. I'm inside our workspace, and we'll create a new field. So let's name this Spotify build, Spotify demo build. And we're going to go Spotify green, and we'll put an image of a beaker. Why not? Okay, and let's rename the table. We're going to call it playlists. Okay. So first thing we want to do is I want to start with a blank canvas, so I'll delete all of these fields here. And I'm going to rename the title field as Spotify track URL. Okay. Okay, the next one would be the track ID, which is going to be a formula. So I'm going to paste this in from a previous build. So we're going to change that to say Spotify, because I've named the field slightly different in this build compared to the other one. So if I was to paste, let's use an example, I'm going to paste a URL from a track, and hopefully that will give us the track ID. There we are. So what we've done is we've isolated from all of the information there just the track ID, which is something we need to pass through to the Spotify API later on. Next, we're going to add a title, and we're going to call this artist. Just a single line of text. Create field. We're going to have artist ID. These will all be used by the Spotify API later on, but for now we don't need to worry too much about it. We're going to have track title. Single line of text. We're going to have another one called genre. Single line of text. Create field. And then we also want to have a number of tracks to be added to a playlist. So number of tracks. So we'll change that to a number, sorry. Just type in number. Create field. Just needs to be a whole number, no decimal places. And we'll click OK. So there we are. That's everything we need for now. We can come back to this and start adding fields afterwards. So I want to now go to fill out, and I already have the build here. But let's make a new form. So this will be, this is fillout.com for those of you who are not familiar with it. I use this form, this form builder a lot because it has the ability to interact with Airtable very well. You can actually pass fields to the form as well as from the form. So normally stuff like Jotform, you can only send information back, or you can use what's called a UTM. But I find with this form builder, fill out, it's an amazing combination. So you'll see what I mean now. If I just select a style, I'm going to select Serene, click next. I'm going to add to our make it no code base. I'm going to select a base, demo build YouTube script. So it's not here. So because we've just created a new go back actually. I'm going to select new account, connect Airtable, and we're going to call this Spotify build. Too late. So it's Spotify demo build. We will grant access. So now I can select the base, and you'll see the table is playlists, and we're going to create the form. So this can be Spotify demo build. I'm not having much luck with Spotify. It's not Spotify, Spotify. Okay, I want to make some quick edits to the design because I don't like the color scheme. So what we've done is we've clicked on edit theme here. And we're going to edit. And what I want to do is change the style. So I'm going to change the style here. I'm going to change the image. And one of the other reasons I like fill out is it's got a much better UI. I can get images from Unsplash, or I can send a link, or I can actually upload a picture locally. So what I want to do is just get one from Unsplash. And typed in Spotify. And I like this one here. So there we are, we have our first field done. So I'm going to exit the builder. There's the option to change. We can add different things, button colors, go back, change primary to maybe the green. I think that's good enough for now. So let's start adding some fields to our form. It's basically a drag and drop, almost like a node builder. But see how we have other and Airtable fields? These are the fields from our Airtable. So what I want to do first is ask the user to give me the Spotify URL. I can see the error there. I'll go back to Airtable and change that shortly. I also want to know the genre of music that they want to match. So the genre of music. And I also need to know how many tracks they want to add to the playlist. If I click Publish now, the form is done, the form is built. But I'm still going to add one more field. So we'll just go, whilst that's publishing, we're going to go back to the Airtable base, and I'm going to add another field called Fill Out Submission ID. And that will just be a single line of text. We'll create the field. Let's go back to Fill Out, Spotify Demo Build. I want to head to the Integrations tab at the very top here and edit the integration with Airtable by adding one more. You can see here, creating a new record. So we've got Spotify track, everything's linked. I just want to send one more piece of information back to Airtable. So if I click, see how there's one field missing, the one that we just created, and click refresh. And there should be the option now for Fill Out Submission ID. And we're going to add Submission ID, update, and we're good to go. So I'm happy with all of that there. Now, if we go to preview, if someone puts let's paste this back in, we can put a track ID. We can type the music genre as jazz, and the number of tracks as, say, 50. And then if we were to click submit, the information will be submitted and sent to our Airtable. So let's have a look here. Let's get a shot of these. Delete. We'll go to fill out. We're going to click submit. There we are. We can actually edit the end screen if you need to. If we go to here, you'll see we have this field was propagated by the form, as was the genre, as was this field here. The formula took care of the track ID, so it's separated from the URL, just the track ID there. I don't know why it's come in twice. Perhaps I need to go back and check the form. Let's go back. Or perhaps I've copied two. I copied two from my source. So let's go back here. And now we want to start with our automation. I'm going to start create a new scenario inside of make.com, and we're going to call this Spotify Demo Build. Okay. Let's start our automation. The first thing we need to do is add a fill out module. If we type fill out, not full out, fill out. So we're going to add the fill out form watched new responses. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to create a new connection. So let's link this demo build. We'll call this, what are we doing? We're working on Spotify build, and what I want to do is just put in brackets demo. Okay, and we will add a new connection. So this can be Spotify demo build. Okay. Now we just need to authorize the connection between the two. So click OK. Once we're back into make.com. So there we are. The connection's done. Spotify demo build is now available. I can choose from all of the forms in my fill out. So done. Just wait for this to load and we'll click OK. So next we're going to add a Airtable module. So we want to get the information from our Airtable, because if you remember from the setup of the Airtable, we're building we had a formula to get the track ID just from the URL that we pasted in. So I want to search for a record. And the record we want, the base we want to get from is likely not here because we've just created a new Airtable base. We're going to have to create a new connection type. So we'll click on Add. We're going to go to Airtable auth. This we'll just call Spotify demo build. And click Save. Now we just need to do the authorization again. Lots of authorizations on this build because everything is new. Click Grant Access. And I believe this will be successful. Yeah, we can select our base, select our table, and the formula we're going to use will be, we'll just select the view, we're going to get the track ID, the genre, and the, what else do we need? Submission ID. I think that's it. So the formula we need to use is curly brackets, and then equals, and then plus 2 quotation marks. I'm going to come back to it. So let's just get the field title of fill out submission ID. We're going to select copy, come back to make.com. I'm going to paste in here. So if you can see, I've pasted the title of the field from Airtable, and we want to, if these two match, then that's the record we're going to return. I just want to double check we've got everything correct here. We only need to return 1. So limit equals 1. Click Save, and for the next module we're going to add, we will bring in a... So the next module we're going to bring in is the Spotify. So what I want to do is get the information from the track ID, the artist ID, the genre, and the music type to be able to further improve this automation. So if I type in Spotify, and we're going to get the, what's it called? Get a track. So if I start typing this in the search, get a track. Basically, if I have the track ID, I can get lots of information from Spotify. So the track ID we get from Airtable. Simple as that. Let's save this now. Let's get ourselves a track ID from somewhere. I've already got some from the previous build. Perhaps I can open that up now. And I can go to Airtable. I can go to Spotify. And if I take the track ID from here, I copy. We're going to go back to make, and we're going to test this out. Let's run this module, pass in the track ID. Okay, so something went wrong with the copy paste. So now from the track ID we are able to get information about the track. So we've got an album, we've got the artists, and we've got URLs, we've got images if we need, so I can pass these back to Airtable if necessary. We've got the track title, number of tracks, the album, the artists. So much information you can get just from pasting in information. So let's go to Spotify and see if we can maybe bring a track over. So we went with Steam, didn't we? I don't know, Steam by System of a Down. Let's pick something by Chop Suey. Right click, and we're going to share. Copy song link. Let's go to the form. Let's switch our automation on. Let's go to the form, which is just here. We'll click preview. put the track ID in, the URL. Genre is, I don't know, let's just call it rock. Hope I'm not offending anyone. And for now, we'll just put one track in. Click submit. Let's go to our Airtable. And we can see we've got, we should be receiving information from the form. Go to the Airtable. Okay. And let's see what information we've got about this. We've got artist 1, and the artist is System of a Down. The title, let's see where the information is on that. Name, Toxicity. There we are. Okay, from here we're able to do so much more though. So, next we can add a OpenAI module, and we can get a chat completion. I tell you what, for the convenience of this video, what I'm going to do is actually delete this and copy from my previous. Okay, we'll sync, and then I'm going to show you exactly how it's done. In case I didn't authorize the account, but if you need to add your account in Spotify, you would just go through here and do demo build, Spotify demo build. Click on save, and then again go through these authorizations. But we don't need to because we're already connected. Click cancel. Let's explain the OpenAI module for you. So we have an OpenAI GPT-4 chat completion. We have a system message that says you're a Spotify playlist curator. Please don't use an artist name or era of music, as this will stop the playlist from being monetizable. Output in JSON format, then we give them a title and description. Next, we have an assistant message, which is, that should be a user message, which says, please give me a response in JSON for the title and description, and then we just need to make a quick edit here. So the artist name, we will pass through artist and name. Let's delete those two, and then the track title is, we found it earlier, Toxicity. Click OK. And now we have a module that creates a title and a description for the playlist. Because we've asked it to, sorry, I didn't scroll down, we've got 0.7 temperature, max token 0, and we're asking it for a JSON response. We're going to have to add a parse JSON module, because it will output the information as a collection, which we can't then use in individual modules, but using parse JSON, we can split the result into usable information. Next, we're going to create a DALL-E 3 image. So we'll click again on ChatGPT, generate an image, and what we're going to do is DALL-E 3. The prompt will be, please create a photorealistic Spotify thumbnail for, now I need to get the information from the JSON module, which hasn't run yet. So let's run this module. Name can be, what we're passing through. So the artist is name, System of a Down, and the name is Toxicity. Click run. There we are. So this is the output. You'll see that it gives the result as a collection, not a JSON. So if I pass this copy, we're going to run this module, passing through the collection. And you'll see now when I go into the OpenAI, we're able to, say, let's go, please create a Spotify thumbnail in a photo realistic style for the following playlist. And then what we want to do is what we need to do is title of playlist, is title, and description is the description. Click OK. Okay, I'm going to save this, auto align, and then next we're going to add, this is going to seem a little bit confusing, I'm going to introduce Google Slides. So the reason I want to introduce a Google Slide is you can add a image to a presentation, and you can use place markers to hold space for text above an image. So I'm going to show you our template in Google Drive now, and then I'll show you how we're going to utilize it to create our thumbnails. So if we come to Google Drive here, so I have a folder called Spotify Build. I have, this is my template, I should really name it, but inside the template, this looks like nothing much, but we have a square here which has the text in a placeholder, so double curly brackets and the word image. We also have two text fields that say title and date, both inside double curly brackets, which we can pass information to. So I'm going to use this template here. It's called Gym Slide because of the template that I used earlier. If we go back to our make.com, we're going to add Google Slides module, and we're going to generate a presentation from a template. And the title will be the title from the JSON. We're going to select from a drop down. I'm going to go into my Spotify thumbnail. I'm going to select the presentation, which is called Gym Slide. And I don't want to change the image here, but I do want to add a title, which is the title of the playlist. And then I'm going to add a date, just because the Spotify algorithm and users will also like to know when the playlist was created and updated. So we're going to format the date. We're going to go up here and select the date, and we're going to add the condition of now. Then we'll we're going to change the format to date, month, year, and we're going to close that off. There we are. That's it for now. Next, we will add a Google Slides module again, and if we type in image, upload an image to the presentation, we're going to select the presentation by mapping. We're going to select presentation ID from the previous module, and then we're going to upload an image by replacing a text tag. So if I click add value, the tag is, if I go to back to Google Slides, you'll see it's image. So double click here, copy. We're going to go back to make, the tag is here, and the image is going to go here. And then where's so the image will come from here, the URL. So let's just run this once. I want to make sure that I've done this correctly, otherwise we may need to put the HTTP download module. Let's see if we run this again one more time. I'm going to go back to my fill out. Going to restart. I'm going to get the track ID from Spotify earlier. So let's go Spotify. Let's get that URL. Let's go to the form. Paste in. We're going to put rock. And we're going to put a number of tracks. Let's put 10. At the moment it doesn't matter because we're not going to produce a playlist just yet. Let's dive back to demo build. There we are, you can see rock. There we are. Let's see the scenario. We've got the record ID, we've got the track ID, we've got created the title description, we've passed the JSON. Now we're generating the image. We are creating the slide. And then hopefully we are adding the image. Let's see. So yeah, it looks good. It looks like we've created the image. We've added the image to Google. Let's go back and let's see. Let's refresh. Energetic rock vibes. Let's open up. So remember, it looked like this is what it looks like. And let's go to energetic rock vibes. There we are, energetic rock vibes, 4th of July 2024. It's not bad for a playlist. As usual, the fingers are a bit with Dolly, but I'm quite happy with that. It would do. So let's go next to our Spotify. We're going to go back to Spotify and start creating our playlist. So what I want to do is click on Spotify again, create a playlist. Connection's already there, so the name is going to be title, and then it's going to be public, it's not collaborative, and we're going to add a description from the past JSON module over here. Click OK. I'm going to save. I'm going to add one more module, which is the Spotify, and we're going to add an image. So forgive me, I've gone a bit jumped ahead of it. I need to add a HTTP module. So I'm going to let's add the image, but we'll go back. Image. Upload the playlist ID. I don't want to add the OpenAI module. What I want to do is take it from Google Slides. So for now, I'm just going to put playlist ID and leave it there. It's not happy. Okay, so here I can add a module. So what I want to do is add a HTTP, add a module. It's going to be called the getter file. So getter file, the URL I want. So let's copy this from my previous build, and then I'll explain as we go. So we have Google presentations, Google Slides allow you to download an image as a PNG or a JPEG. So basically I have the endpoint here. You can see it's downloaded. I have that endpoint in the make.com scenario, and all I'm doing is just changing changing out the module, the presentation ID. Sorry, stumbling over my words there. If I click OK there, save, that will download as an image, and then I've got the option to pass that through to our Spotify playlist. Awesome. We're getting there. So if you stuck through this far, thank you for your patience. We're going to click save one more time. Next, we want to make a special call. So there isn't an app to get recommendations, a module, inside here. So if I type in the words recommendations, recommend, see there's nothing there. Nothing. So what we need to do is make an API call to the Spotify. So I'm going to make an API call, and let's go over to Spotify developers. So bear with me. Web API, Spotify developers, so documentation for the API. If let's scroll through, and you will see here there is a section for recommendations, I believe. There we are, get recommendations. So if we make a call to, where's the endpoint? Here's the endpoint here. This one here. So let's go back to make.com. And our URL is going to be here. We only need from the /, so if I just replace that. And then the type of request we're going to make is let me just read through. Let's have a look. So, sample request, we're going to make a GET request. So let's go back, and then our endpoint, and then what we will do is pass this information. So let's take this through. We're going to copy this, go back to make.com, and we're going to put a question mark, and we'll also put this information here. Later we'll change everything, so let's click OK so I can save it. And now let's make the changes. So you can see here we've got seed artist. So let's see if we can find an artist idea somewhere in here. So if I type in artist, not here, but there is a section here, artist ID. There it is. So if I click here, now we can get rid of everything up to the next question mark. Sorry, not question, ampersand. The seed genre is going to come from, if I delete this one here, seed genre up to the equal sign. Genre is going to come from, why is it not showing me more? I need to get from module over here. All the way back here, we have genre. You see here, rock. So I want to be able to pass through from module number 3. So let's go back to our API call. Oh. And we can do a sneaky little cheat. We can do a double curly bracket, 3 dot genre. There we are. It's added it for us. And then the seed track. So we need to get the seed track ID, which was available from the same module. It's also available from there. So hopefully we can. You can see that the track ID is there from number 3. For some reason I'm not getting the thing. Let me just disconnect. Link again. Let's see if the connection's there a bit better. That's better. Sometimes make.com wigs out. So we'll just add the track ID. Believe it or not, that's all we need from there. Wow, one more actually. I forget. Let's go back to our developers section of Spotify. We also need to limit the track numbers. So if I just type in any number here, what we'll do is we'll see that there's been another field added. We have a section that says limit. So I want to get from here, just limit equals 12. And limit equals 12. And we'll just change that to. Ooh. We haven't added number of tracks. Have I added that to the field? Number of tracks. Okay, so the error is in here. I haven't asked the Airtable module to return number of tracks. So let's select that here. Let's run this module. And let's get the submission ID from the build. Copy. Let's go back to make.com. Let's click run. Nice. So we've got a 200 response, and now we've got a number of tracks. So if I go back to my module here, hopefully we're going to see. Let's unlink and link again. See if it gives us the option. Number of tracks. There we are. I'm happy with that. Content type is JSON. Okay, this will now return. If we were to run it for that, number of tracks would be 10. So we need to get an iterator so it can go through each section. So let's iterate through all of the tracks that it returns with an iterator. And what we're going to pass through is the body of tracks. So let's see if we can find that. We don't have it yet because we've not run a module. Let's make an API call. Right, what we're going to do is actually run the whole scenario. So I'm just going to click run, align, save. It's telling me the iterator can't be at the end, but that's okay. Let's run the module, run anyway. Let's go back to our form. Let's restart. Let's get the track ID, track URL, sorry. Let's paste it in here. Let's type in rock one more time. Number of tracks, let's go 12. Click submit. We should see it now come into the Airtable. We should also see it come into our make.com scenario. I'm just going to go back to Airtable because I want to see if it's there. Click refresh. Just a bit slow updating, 12. If ever you want to see when a record comes in, you can go into here and see all activity, and it says 17 seconds ago. You can also see any comments or revision history. So always good to check on these things. Let's go back to the scenario. So it's running through, it's built the image. Let's have a quick look. Oh, and I can see I've got an error. That's annoying. Okay, so I've been doing some error solving off screen. And basically I was running into some issues where I was uploading the album cover. So I've had to slightly change the layout, but all the modules are here as they were before. We have to fill out the Airtable, the get the track, the OpenAI modules, etc. Download the image. What we need to do is make sure that we add all of the tracks first. So we iterate through all of the tracks, and then we close off with an aggregator. Basically, we were erroring out because I was trying to add an image to the Spotify playlist before it had any tracks in it, and for some reason the API doesn't let you do that. So I've done that, added it through, and I just want to show you, if I go to my Spotify, that, look, so this is the name of the ID. What's the creative playlist is here. So this is our external URI. This is the one that was just created. If I go to open up a new tab, then you'll see here that this is the track that was created. Intense Rock. You can see the image. It's made by AI. Let's enlarge it. I don't want to choose, but you can see that that's an AI image. If I go back to Airtable and show you what was created inside DALL-E 3. Let's go. Don't worry, I'll run this again one more time so that people can see how it worked. But I was having some difficulties. Might be a bit slow. So this is the OpenAI image. like a dot matrix printer. My internet's so slow today. Okay, so one more thing we need to do to finish off this this build is go to our Airtable. So I want to go, this is not the right one, I want to go to the demo build again and add out some additional fields. So we want to put back into the Airtable our playlist ID. Okay, and that's going to be a URL. Okay, I also want to get the image URL because we can use that for our social posts as well. That'll come from OpenAI later on. Sorry, it'll come from the Google presentation, and that's going to be a URL. We can also, if we want to, we can add the image itself. Just so we've got some options. We can put an attachment. We can add the image. Okay, and then the other one we want is the title. Single line of text. And then one more will be the description. We can use the description for our long line of text. We can use that for our social media posts. So I thank you all for your patience bearing with me whilst on this build. We're going to go back and add some additional fields now. So we couldn't pass anything through earlier. Now if I click refresh, we are going to see all those additional fields. So we've added playlist ID is coming from it's not an ID, what we want is the external URI, and this is the shareable link, so that will go there. Our image, we're going to get, let me copy, image comes from, let's copy this module here, copy. So that goes in here. We can add our image. If we select here, URI, it's going to come from I'm going to skip that for now. We don't need to add it. Let's add the title, which is coming from our JSON. And we're going to put the description there too. Coming from the JSON. So I will give System of Down a break, and I'm going to select a song. Let's type in, what's the rhymes? I feel like a change. Let's see what songs he's got. Break Your Neck. There we are. I like that one. Copy song. Let's go. Click Save. Let's align this. Let's run this. Wait for new data. I want to go back to my form. Restart. New submission. Spotify demo build. Let's go for our track title. Let's go for our genre is hip hop. Number of tracks. I want 8 tracks. I'm gonna always do this. Forgot to go to preview. Let's put the track in. It's hip hop, and I want 8 tracks. Submit. Let's go to our automation. Let's see, it's captured everything. It's running, creating image. Let's go to the demo build. You can see I've done a lot of tests off screen. I'm going back to the automation, still running. Might be able to see, it's not ready yet actually, but okay, now this is ready. Let's take a quick, yes, it's worked all the way through. Let's take a sneaky peek at this. So this is the image that's loading. Let's go back to Airtable and we should have all of the fields. So now I've got a link to the document if I want to download it. Dynamic rhythms is the title. Immerse yourself in an immersive. If we click on here, we can open our Spotify. And then hopefully I can play the music. I don't know if I'm going to get copyright though, so I'll have to be careful. Let's look at the image. I quite like this style that it's coming up with. Let's take a look at the... Where's the make it no code? Okay. I'm happy with that. Okay. So there we are, we've got 8 tracks. Got Ice Cube in there, Limp Bizkit, CNN and MOP, Naughty by Nature with 3LW, DMX, Lloyd Banks, and then Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'm happy with that as a playlist. So I've got all this information that I can send. So let's get out of this and let's go back to the make.com scenario. You can see we've built out the whole scenario. It's pumped. We've filled in a form, updated Airtable, got the information about the track that we were interested in, created a description, a title, passed the JSONs. We have then created a playlist. We've created an image to go inside the playlist. We've added text to the playlist and added some text. We've downloaded the image. We've made an API call to find similar sounding tracks. We've then iterated through all of the results. We've then updated the playlist cover and then put everything back into our Airtable. So from here, if you've stuck this one out, you've done really well. What we can do is we can have a second automation that will watch the Airtable. This is the monetization bit. So this is the bit how you make money. This is the sweet spot. So if you can get 1,000 subscribers to your playlist, I'm going to face the camera, 1,000 subscribers to your playlist and have over 30 monthly listeners on that particular playlist, then you become eligible to monetize your playlist. So if you go onto a service like, I forgot what they're called, Playlist Push, they will give you $15 per track that you list, provided you're eligible and you go through the application process. So to increase the listenership of your playlist, you can promote the playlist. So whilst this is loading up, I've been having all sorts of tech issues today, so very, very slow. And I'm moving house tomorrow. So yeah, you can see I've got this module here, which will watch for records, and it will bring back from playlist, grid view. We will then, so when a track is added, let's see if I can choose where to start. So once you switch this on, it will look for new entries. If I wanted to, I can take from Airtable. I need to get the title, so one moment. I don't need the title, I need to know the title. It ends in 76. 76, 76, 76. Okay, let's just assume it's 510, 540. Might be this one here. So we would have this module. We've got a router then that will create a post. We create a post by adding the image that was created by Google Slides. We add the description, add the title, make the post, and then what we do is we add a comment to that post. Comment will be a link to the Spotify playlist. We can also create a Facebook post. That's killing me. So yeah, we would do this to our account. We'll add the description as a message, the playlist as a link, new playlist just created, and then we would put the link to the, where is it, playlist there. Okay, and then we're going to put the date. I like to format my dates in a particular manner, which is date, month, year. So there we are, and then you can add to a Discord. I haven't finished setting up my Discord connection, but yeah, you can pump out to all of your social media posts, social media channels, links back to your playlist, and then if you want to keep your playlist fresh and up to date and tip-top shape for the algorithm, build out a secondary automation, which I probably will do later throughout our build series, where you manage the playlist. So we will withdraw the tracks from the playlist and upload them again, change the date, change the thumbnail, tweak the description, and that will give Spotify the idea that your tracks and your playlists are maintained, and it will promote them further inside the channel. So if you've enjoyed this build, let me just change my screen here. So if you've enjoyed this build, please consider subscribing to the channel, number one, and then of course, please join our school community. The reason I suggest joining the school community is we will be sharing all of the blueprints and all of the everything that you need. This one here, because you can make money with it, we're putting inside of the subscription-based school community. So if you want to download the blueprints, what I'm going to be doing is, if you gain access to school, you can basically import the blueprint like this. So you would import, choose a file, click OK, and then upload. I'm also going to share the templates for the form. So if I exit this, I will share the form interface. So basically make this as a template for you. So this will be available to download as an asset. Okay, I'm not going to set everything up now. I'll do this after the video has been recorded. And I will also share the Airtable base. So I'm going to share publicly. I'll enable editing. And what I'm going to do is give you this as a template. So if we preview this, you guys will be able to just copy the base. I'm obviously going to clear the data, but you can just copy the base, and all you need to do is just add the connections inside of Make.com, and you've got yourself a ready-made money-making machine. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed everything, and we'll see you in the school community.